Hey, everybody, I know you're excited for today's podcast episode with Jeff Kyle, but before we jump in, I want you to remember something. You may have heard about the controversy surrounding the new movie called Unplanned, where the MPAA decided to slap an R rating on it, and which is it's very little more than an attempt to just prevent Christians from going to see it who might steer clear from an R rating. So they also make it harder for young people who really need to see the consequences of abortion from seeing it. So Abby Johnson, a good friend of mine who had 2 abortions herself, she worked for Planned Parenthood. She was a staunch supporter of abortion, so much so that even her mother and husband couldn't even get her to think differently. She rose in the ranks of Planned Parenthood to where she ultimately became the clinic director there in Bryan, Texas, and oversaw over 22,000 abortions in her tenure with Planned Parenthood. But all that changed one day whenever she witnessed an abortion when she was called in to assist a doctor, and what she witnessed changed her life forever. So this is her story. Unplanned brings you an eye-opening look inside the abortion industry from a woman who was once the most passionate advocate for abortion. And so I want to encourage you, go to unplannedfilm.com. That's unplannedfilm.com. I promise you will not leave the theater the same as when you went in. Unplannedfilm.com. Go see the movie right now. Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. I got a feeling that this one's going to get interesting. It's going to get very, very interesting because Party Foul Steve's sitting over in the peanut gallery, and guess what? He's already enjoyed a couple of cocktails.
I ain't as think as you drunk I am.
No, Ossifer, I haven't been drinking. So what you got? Is that water?
That's pure water right there, buddy.
Yeah, that looks like moonshine with ice in it.
You smell it.
Yeah,
You can't
smell it.
That.
Hot news, Natalie.
There is water in there.
Okay, well,
In the
there's
ice.
water in there, but Jesus has performed another miracle, apparently.
Yeah, it's such frozen chunks.
I love
Exactly. Yeah, the ice is what's water. Sitting in the hot seat, my good buddy Jeff Kyle hanging out. This is a second appearance for Jeff on the Chad Prather Show on the podcast, but now we get to see your beautiful face. Look at you. How you been, man?
Miserably well.
All right.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. I like all that kind of stuff. And our buddy Mark Hansen, who I thought he might show up today, but he didn't show up today. He's a chicken.
Yeah. He doesn't look good on camera.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't look good in person.
Yeah.
He's had my truck now for 2 months working on the
surprise
thing. 2 months he's had this thing. People are like, we don't see any of the truck videos. I don't have a truck.
Yeah.
I haven't had
I
a
don't
studio.
feel sorry for you because mine, let's see, he had mine for about 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. So Jeff and I have the distinct honor of serving together with the foundation that they created with his parents, Wayne and Debbie Kyle, and of course Jeff and Amy, and Mark's on the board as well, and a few others. And I was honored when they asked me to be a part of the American Valor Foundation. I'm just going to tell you right now, AmericanValorFoundation.org is the website. You need to go check it out and visit it. And we're going to talk some more about that because we got some big fun things coming up. But yeah, Mark, he wanted to. Of course, he has Road Armor. He wanted us to do the truck makeover, with the new. I don't have any idea what he's doing to it.
Yeah.
Total surprise. But here's the thing. So we were down at Granger Smith's place with the Road Armor Jeep a couple of weeks ago, and the thing messed up. We had to have it towed back on a rollback. Did you hear about this?
No, I haven't.
And so they've got it at the Dallas Dodge dealership, and they're trying to figure out what's wrong with it. Pretty sure the transmission blew out on it, but they just discontinued that transmission. Yeah, Steve did it.
Okay.
Hey.
Okay.
Chad did it.
No. Who was driving when it blew?
Well, when I got in it, it was blown.
Yeah, it drove around just fine. But anyway.
And then I got in it.
Yeah, sure. So anyway, we didn't know what exactly happened, but they've got it. And whenever Dodge discontinues something, they also discontinue the tools to work on it. So now you got to get all new stuff. So I told Mark the other day, I said, I should have probably just paid for all this stuff that he's doing to my truck.
Yeah.
Because it's probably going to cost me this equivalent in fixing that Jeep. So,
Nice. Good job.
I know. Isn't that exciting?
Good job.
I know.
I told you could take my portion out of my paycheck.
Yeah.
All right.
You're
Whatever.
so,
take half of it out of my paycheck in $10 increments.
Yeah.
All right. That means you have to employ me for a very long time.
Yeah. So giving of you. So giving of you. Let's talk about American Valor Foundation. How did that whole deal get started? Let's talk about the history of it.
After Chris passed, we wanted to do something to keep his memory alive and to carry on his legacy of assisting others. With me being a Marine and my parents raising a Marine and a Navy SEAL, I mean, it's in our blood. That's what we want to do. We want to give back, want to help, and do everything we can. So we started out one year and had a little benefit in Hamilton, Texas, and we had a roping along with it and raised money for another foundation, and that's how we started giving back. And once we did that first one, there was no way we were going to stop doing it.
Yeah, we're
there.
like, dadgum, we could do our own foundation and give money to what we're doing.
Right.
It's fun. I like, because you know, it's kind of Chris's motto to serve those that serve, serve us, and that's been kind of the mission in the foundation. And it's funny, your dad, before I knew your dad, I had this idea of what your dad must be like, because having raised you and having raised Chris and just knowing you guys and knowing y'all's reputation, your dad is everything I thought he would be. Everything. So let me tell you a story. So I had a show, and I won't say it was a local show. I won't say the venue or anything else. But your dad sends me a text message, and there were like 3,000 people coming to this live show. Your dad sends me a text message. He says, "We're here." I said, "Okay, well, come on in, and we'll get somebody to bring you back." And he goes, "Are they wanding people?" Which told me he was carrying. And I said, "Not only that, they got full-blown metal detectors." I said, "Wayne, go get in a truck and drive around back. I'll let you in the back." Because there was no way I was telling your dad to give up his gun.
Yeah.
And I was actually happy that he was there and had it. So anyway.
I don't know. Sometimes that might be a little scary.
I know.
Yeah.
We had a blast with him and your mom that night, though. And it was a good night. But, yeah, I was like, Wayne is a passionate dude.
Extremely.
Real passionate guy. And you don't have to be around him very long to know where he stands on something. And it's one thing I enjoy about him, because he's straightforward. And I will say that pretty much your mom's the same way.
Yeah.
Your mom will jump somebody's ass in a heartbeat, too.
Yeah. She's a little more PC about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mama's pretty quiet.
I've seen her on the email chains.
Yeah. But when Mama wants to say something, Mama says something.
Yeah. No, I enjoy that about pretty much everybody that I know well on the board. We're pretty directed to the point. If it's which
definitely.
The way I vote is whatever Wayne Kyle wants, because I'm scared of him. So
hey, anybody that raised two boys like that, that's what I'm like. Hey, you got to go to the parents.
Exactly.
What kind of kids they got, and you kind of look at it and I'm like, you raised a Marine and Navy SEAL, you're good in my book.
Yeah, exactly. But let's talk about the event that's coming up, because we talked about the benefit, but we got one coming up. Let's talk about that thing.
So every year we have the Chris Kyle Memorial Benefit at the Stockyards. It's always the first weekend in May.
Mm-hmm.
So this year it's May 4th. In previous years, we did an entire weekend of events, clay shoot, golf tournament, just all kinds of stuff, everything. And it was a logistical nightmare to put that on for an entire weekend. And it was exhausting, not only for, everybody involved with the foundation, but, for the participants too. So we decided this year just to kind of tone it back a little bit and really focus on the gala.
Yeah.
And just really knock that out of the park and then spread the rest of the events throughout the year.
Yeah. We got a lot of tickets left. Folks can come, and you can go to AmericanValorFoundation.org, and the ticket link's there. You can also go to my website, watchchad.com, and there's a ticket link there. Sends you right to it. And the most tickets are about $140, if I remember right. And
$149.
$149. So $150, and people say, well, hey, it's an expensive ticket. It's really not. When you consider this as an opportunity to give, and it's always a fun time.
Right.
You don't know who's going to be there. You don't know who's going to show up, and it's a good time. Have we announced the entertainment yet? We have.
Yeah.
Okay.
So our special guest speaker is Brian Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
He's a triple amputee, phenomenal guy, has a amazing story, and just being around him and hearing him, everybody walks around and has aches and pains and stuff like that, and poor pitiful me, and then you see Brian zipping around in his wheelchair out there dancing on the, spinning girls around on the dance floor. He's pretty amazing. We have a band, the Gordon Collier Band, out of Waco. He's a close family friend of ours, and he's actually one of the local news anchors down in Waco.
Yeah.
And So he moonlights as a singer, and he's pretty good. They're pretty fun to watch. And then Kyle Jacobs is coming, and he's bringing another special guest with him. They're singer-songwriters, and I think that's going to be, that's a little different than what we normally do.
Yeah.
Having the actual songwriters up there and telling the story behind the song and performing it. I think that's going to be a pretty good deal.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
Can I say
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I went, that was 3 years ago, I actually got to attend with Camrath, and that's where I met you. You stuck with me ever since.
Hey,
but-
do y'all have an MC for that event yet? I'm just asking for a friend.
Yes. We do.
Who's the MC for this event?
Tex McDormand.
Okay. I might have to bump him out. I might want to MC.
You're going to be to a drinking limit
Right.
No, is there a limit? Is there a drinking limit?
for the MC.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, you're already out.
I'm out.
Exactly.
I'm out.
Anyway, I went 3 years ago, I think was my first time. And everywhere I turned, there was somebody that made my jaw drop. This is such a really neat setting to meet so many heroes that you see in the news or on TV or you read about, and everywhere. And there's just not a lot you can even say or even step up to anybody. But it also is a very intimate setting where I think this year it was Kelly Pickler was there maybe, and
She's usually there.
yeah, and she sang, and her husband sang. And it was just such a neat opportunity to hang out with so many cool people, and because it was so intimate, I felt like we were just in a backyard around a bonfire, just not only surrounded by heroes, but also taking in the best of the best when it came to entertainment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're just singing around a bonfire. It was the coolest, most special night I'll never forget.
Yeah. And the good, what I appreciate so much is everybody, all the entertainment that comes, every one of them come and donate their time. They don't ask for a dime.
Yeah.
And, especially when you have like Kelly Pickler show up and perform and, won't take a dime.
Yeah.
That, to me, that speaks volumes of individuals like that. Just a quick funny story about Kelly. So Kyle Jacobs.
There's a lot of funny stories about Kelly.
Yes. So Kyle Jacobs is Kelly Pickler's husband.
Mm-hmm.
My parents got to meet them at at a CMA or something like that in Nashville one year. And the first time that Kyle saw my parents, he walked up, they introduced themselves. Kelly introduced herself, and Kyle walked up and said, "Well, I'm Kelly's wife." And my dad excuse me? And immediately Kyle's going to kill me because I'm saying this on air, but I don't care. Kyle was immediately embarrassed, bright red, and he said, "I am never going to live that down." He said, "I've never met Jeff." He said, "But if you ever tell Jeff that I said that, I'm going to kill you." So I met Kelly and Kyle in Indianapolis at the Brickyard 400. And Kelly was there singing the national anthem. So after they sang and we started the race, then they came, we were all in a one of those suites, and they came up the elevator, and I walked over there and introduced myself, and I met Kelly, and then I turned to Kyle and I said, "Well, hello, Mrs. Pickler," and he dropped. He's like, "All right, I'm done."
That was it.
Yeah. So it's been a good relationship since then.
Yeah, that's hilarious. They're good folks. And,
Very good.
You're
Very
right.
good.
You learn a lot about people who are in the entertainment industry or whatever you want to call them, celebrities who donate their time and give their time because they're busy people. They got a lot going on.
Extremely. Yeah. And especially on a weekend.
Yeah.
Because the weekend's when everybody makes their money.
Exactly. Exactly. So River Ranch in the Fort Worth Stockyards, May the 4th. We got room for you. We want everybody to go. And we've got my good buddy Jason Ridley. He's Representative Jason Ridley. He's Georgia State Representative. He's flying over. He's coming to the deal. And he just wants to come have a good time. And he knows it will be. And so we got a lot of folks that they're planning to show up. And it's going to be, like Natalie said, it's kind of a who's who thing. You never know who you're going to run into. And
And it's never, no matter who shows up, how big they are or, how much spotlight they're in, it's never about them. They never try to draw attention away from the event.
Yeah, that's a good thing. It's a good thing. I'm looking forward to it. Are we still going to do the clay shoot at some point in time?
Yes, we're going to have that in June.
June. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't keep up with all our dates. I know.
Yeah.
Who is this Clay guy we're talking about? Because I don't mind. I want to make sure somebody
Clay, a.k.a. Steve.
Party foul. Yeah.
Who is this Clay?
We're going to paint you orange and send you out across the field running naked. Pull. Sounds like something in Steve's bedroom.
That's going to be a short event.
Pull's not. That's not anything I've ever been able to do.
Yeah, that's too many jokes that hit my head all at once. Tony, Steve's wife's over there turning red. Oh, don't pass out, T. I'd love to spray paint you orange, just fluorescent orange, just butt naked and send you out. That's a funny sketch right there. I'm gonna put you in a Speedo.
We'll do it. We'll just I need a name tag that says Clay. It's a Clay shoot.
Pull, and you just sprint out across the field.
Maybe we can arrange something like that.
I bet we could.
Shoot, yeah.
We'll
so
make
he
sure
won't work
that,
as an MC, but definitely as Clay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
100%.
Oh, man. Too many ideas are coming to my head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to it, though. I like it. And, but, there's one of the things that – let's talk a little bit about what the foundation does, because I got a couple of things I want to get to. But let's talk a little bit about that, because a lot of times, folks – there's so many, and we were talking about that with the episode with Ashley Camrath about there's so many nonprofit organizations that are out there that are benefiting military and veterans, and some are good, some are not so good, some have a good reputation, some not. So folks wonder, what are we doing? And by the way, let me just say, if you go to AmericanValorFoundation.org, you could see the financials for the organization. They're right there for all the public to see. Nothing's hidden, which is great. I always appreciate that. But what all does the foundation do?
Oh man, we raise money for other foundations, because we realize that it's not just about us.
Yeah.
We're not the end all be all. So we help out the legit foundations that are actually out there humping it and doing what's right.
Yeah.
And giving back and, doing the right thing for our veterans, and not only our veterans, but our first responders too.
Yeah.
A lot of times that group of individuals, they get forgotten about. So, we make sure that we do as much as we can for them as well.
Yeah.
But we've given back to other foundations, some of them annually, and some of them, will actually do the entire benefit just for them and raise all those funds for them. But we've helped out paying medical bills. We've helped out with car notes, dental.
Well, I can tell you
things.
one just from last week, and where, because you sent out the email and you said, hey, we've got a guy who's dealing with some severe PTS and he's depressed and he needs to talk to somebody. He needs to go to this treatment, but he needs a plane ticket, can't afford the plane ticket. Should we buy the plane ticket? And I was like, if we don't, I will. Let's get this guy on an airplane and get him where he needs to be. Because said, it'd be another month before he could get in there. And he said, I don't think I can make it another month.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I appreciated. He reached out to me, and I could have made that decision right then and there, but I wanted to, I wanted to let the board know what was happening. But yeah, he reached out to me and he said, I need some help. He said, I'm having too many issues. And I don't know how much more of it I can take doing it on my own. He said, I can't rely on the VA. I can't rely on this or that. So he said, I need some help.
Yeah.
So, I told him, I said, this is the program that you need to go to, and you need to call them right now. I gave him the contact information. Tell them that I sent you there, and let's make it happen. So he got off the phone with them, and they immediately called me and told me about it, and said, yes, he is a very, very good candidate, and he needs to be here. Mm-hmm. And they gave him the two options, the two dates. And, when he responded back to me and said, I don't think I can wait another month. Yeah. Hey, done deal.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. And those are the great things. Those are the things that's the personable, I should say, things about this organization that people can reach out and get an immediate response from you. It's not some administrator. It's not, somebody is actually going to take the time and respond to you and get the help that you need, because sometimes it's the little things. When I say that, it's those one-off situations that come. It's not some big, massive. You don't have to go through all this bureaucracy to get a decision made and things like that. And everybody's just got that willing and giving heart, and it's fun. I mean, it's an honor for me just to kind of sit back and watch, because I've always tried to do two big things that I've always tried to devote my time to as far as charitable work has always been how can I help the folks that serve, whether it's first responders or military, and how can I help kids, and I know those are two big hotbed items these days, but I'm like, I don't want to deal with a lot of bureaucracy when it comes to that organizational flow chart and things.
Right. You just want to help.
I just want to help. Let's make a decision and put our money where our mouth is. So I had Jacob Schick on the show, and of course he founded 22 Kill, and he deals obviously with a lot of vet suicide and as well first responders. And we just talked about the subject of suicide in and of itself. And we posted the teaser video for it, and somebody said, "Quit talking about it." No, we're not going to quit talking about it, because we're trying to take the stigma off of the PTS. We're trying to take the stigma off of the depression, so that people can open up about this and say, look, yeah, you're a man. Yeah, you're a hero. Yeah, people look up to you, but you got some things going on. I wouldn't judge you if you had stage 4 cancer.
Right.
Why am I going to judge you if you got a chemical thing going on inside your head from the shit you've been through? So
that's a tough thing for, a grown man, not only, but a military veteran, whether it doesn't matter what service you're in, hey, I've got a problem.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do. I need help with this.
Yeah. I've always been outspoken about my own depression. We've always talked about it. We've always been very clear about it, and the steps that I've taken to do it. And I never tell people, how I beat it or how I handle it, because it's different for everybody.
Right. Yeah. There's not a chart that you can go by.
Exactly. And you've dealt with that a lot, and you've spoken to a lot of groups. And you're one of those ones, and I want to revisit this because you and I both agree on the idea of taking the word disorder out of PTSD. Let's talk about that a little bit, what your mindset is towards that. Because we hear PTSD all the time.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and I know me and you and a lot of us in this room, we say PTS.
Yeah.
To me it's not a disorder.
Right.
It's not something that you can't function through. Half of the people that have legit PTS are the ones that you'll never know that have it. They've learned to deal with it, whether on their own or going through, programs or however they saw fit that they needed to deal with it, they can deal with it. Now, of course, PTS hits, like you said, it hits people way different ways.
Yeah.
So, but
it's funny. We had, and of course, I don't want to assume anything, because people may say, well, what's PTS? Post-traumatic stress is what we're talking about. And we assume that everybody knows what that is, but I don't want to take it for granted.
Right.
So I had Mike Ritlin on the show, and of course, he works with, he trained Navy SEAL dogs and bomb sniffing dogs and all these. And he's got this retirement, basically ranch for dogs that are being brought out of the military, and they have to be reprogrammed to learn how to be dogs.
Right.
And I said, these dogs are dealing with PTS.
Yeah.
I mean, if dogs are dealing with it, how much more is the complex human brain that feels that emotion and feels that so many multiple dimensions more than, say, a canine does? How much more?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's
a
crazy.
Military guy, without any war or anything, has to come out of the military and learn how to be a civilian again.
Yeah.
That's a difficult process, more difficult for some than others.
Yeah.
And the thing about PTS is that stigma has been put on the military community. I know a lot of civilians that have never been in law enforcement, never been in the military, nothing, that have PTS.
Yeah.
Because their mama whooped their ass.
Yeah. I mean, I think by the time I was one, I probably had PTS,
That's because we were raised right.
Right. Yeah.
But Glenn Beck, Blaze TV's Glenn Beck, a lot of people jumped on Glenn. Glenn basically had to come out and say, look, a lot of things that I was saying through 2015, 2016 was due to what they diagnosed as basically having PTS. I had the same thing going on in my brain, and he had to go get the same kind of treatment from what was going on. He said, I just wasn't functioning in my right brain. And I mean, it wasn't something he'd gone through like that,
right?
Some traumatic thing in that thing. And I've had people, who have tried to make that exclusively military, and it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And like you said, people say, stop talking about it.
Yeah.
Hell no.
No.
The more we're in your brain housing group and it's there, then the better off we are, because the more people that are going to start to think about it and, talk about it more and fix it.
Yeah. Your brother died trying to help somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know that was a big part of what was driving him and pushing him. 6 years. February 2nd was 6 years. Seems like yesterday, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Yeah. I mean, that's still a raw deal. It's raw, I know, in the family.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's a grief. I mean, it really is. I still, knowing you guys and knowing the family the way I do now, I grieve with you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
On so many levels with the thing. And because it's one thing to look at somebody and say, well, here was an icon, here was a legend, and did so much and became well known for a lot of good reasons and then a lot of peripheral reasons,
right.
The Hollywood thing and those things. And you look at that, but then you see the real family and the real emotion and I've seen your dad, break down and get pissed off. And, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's tough. How's your family dealing with it today?
I mean, it's like you said, it's raw still, and I'm sure it always will be. But just how we're wired is, we're not going to stop and lay down and feel sorry for ourselves and feel sorry for anybody else. We're just going to keep going and continue to push forward and do what we got to do to, continue on with our mission.
Bunch of hard asses.
His dad at the show was busting my balls about being a Marine. I loved it. I was like,
I know. Well, I think I asked you before. I said, why'd you choose the Marines and not the Navy? And you said, because the Marines are the best.
Yeah. Because we're the men's department.
What'd you say?
I said the district attorney chose mine. I was way smarter than that. I thought.
It's either you go in or you're going in.
That's right.
That's awesome. I didn't like they portrayed you bad in the movie though. I didn't like that. It still pisses me off. Man, I'm gonna talk with Eastwood one day about this thing.
Yeah, well, I had a talk with Cooper about it.
Yeah.
I let him know how I felt about it, and I gave him some words to pass on to that little puke that played me. So
ain't no wussification in the Kyle family.
Yeah.
No.
And
oh wait, that wasn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was never any hugging brother moment on the tarmac overseas where he was ready to quit war.
Oh, damn.
No. But yeah, it's that's Hollywood is Hollywood. They're going to do what they're going to do. And that's one thing about Hollywood that really pisses me off especially when it comes to, dealing with people's lives.
Yeah.
They want to make this story and they want to get everybody's attention, which they did, and they did a okay job on it, but, I didn't feel like they did. I don't feel like they did it justice by trying to make him larger than life at the same time making everybody else look, ridiculous.
Yeah.
And not just the idiot that played me, but, all the rest of the characters in the movie too. I mean, they didn't do them justice. And to me, I don't agree with that. If you're going to do it right. Play everybody right. Do your homework, talk to those people. Talk to the families and figure out who these people are that you're playing, and portray them right.
Yeah. Well, every time I'm around the guys from Benghazi, with John Tigan or with Ozgeist or whoever, and I say, John's funny Tig's funny because I'm like, so did the car really blow up? Like with that, he said, no, there were no cars exploding. I mean, that's a Michael Bay film, so if you're watching 13 Hours, there was no cars blowing up, we don't,
That's more exciting though.
Well, that's because it's the movie. Yeah.
When I tell the stories of my desert cleanup, that's how I tell them. All right?
There was actual sand in the crack of my ass.
That's it.
I was in my underwear.
Takes me back to late 1991. Oh, let me tell you, it was tough.
Well, yeah, you were on the map with Wolf Blitzer on CNN. Yeah.
Something like that.
Oh my God, we had Colonel West in here, and He was talking about, when were you there? And Steve,
No,
what did you say, 2000?
No, he put it in my head. He said he was there 2003, 2000. I said, I was there in 02, which I meant 91 or 92.
How does
because
02?
I know, because he put it in my head.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe so.
For
But
those of you listening, Hot News
tried to-
Natalie
I
just
tried to-
held up the
I was
glass
trying
of...
to down age myself by 10 years.
That's funny, dude.
So obviously you didn't do the math for me.
Because
Yeah, I didn't-
Alan said, Alan goes, what was going on in 02?
I was like, I just shut up then because I realized I couldn't correct it. It was already done.
It was a done deal. Oh, my gosh. That's so funny.
Of course, I don't go read the comments on Facebook, so I have no idea what they said. I don't even give a shit. I mean, care.
Oh, Lord. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. How many deployments did you do?
I did 3 total.
3 total. Were you ever in Afghanistan?
No.
I didn't think so. Yeah, that's it's crazy. I talk about this because I think that. So I'm 46 years old. I was a senior in high school when Desert Storm happened, 91, and I can remember back then. Guys went in the military a lot of times because either they had to or they didn't have a lot of options, like party foul.
Hey,
or
I had an option.
yeah, you could have gone to jail. But but then after, but post 9/11, it became like this is the thing to do. Like this is and I think the attitude and the view towards military and military service and people's desire to go do it changed. You think that's true, or am I?
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to re-enlist after 9/11.
Yeah, you
I
should
was
have.
already old by then.
They were allowing gays in.
Thank you, Clinton.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Thank you, Clinton. I got out that year.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Sorry.
I didn't know she was a he.
Well, thank God for Donald Trump.
It was Indonesia, 1994.
Yeah. Oh my Lord. So, but yeah, it changed. It changed.
did, yeah.
And now
it
you can
was-
recognize the guys. They got the beards. They got the tattoos. They got the T-shirt companies. You know?
Yeah. Everybody's got an apparel company.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's funny.
Yeah.
But you had, and I know that, and I don't want to go too far into this, but I know that folks look at it and they say, "Oh, it's the Kyle family. They got money from movies and books and stuff like that." But that's not, and I don't want to get into details of all that. But that's not reality. That's not the way it went down. Yeah, exactly. He's loaded.
He is so
Yeah.
rich.
But I can remember when I met you. I think you were working at the Harley Davidson shop in Waco, and I'm like, "What the hell?" You know,
Hey,
and I'm
what's
like,
it? Is that the Toad Frog? Wait, hang on.
No.
Which one is in Waco?
Harley Davidson in Waco.
Oh, okay. Never mind. What am I
Steve.
thinking of? Which one's something frogs?
Horny Toad.
Horny Toads.
Horny Toad. Where's that one at?
That's down around all.
We won't
Yeah.
even talk about that one.
Yeah, but
We'll
no,
talk
you were
about the
working
one
at
in
you were
Waco.
working at the Harley dealership.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't hold down a job.
Yeah,
Just trying to make ends meet, just doing anything and everything I could to make a buck. I actually took my motorcycle in there to get it serviced, and they were like, "Hey, why don't you come look at some bikes?" I was like, "Man, I can't afford a new bike.
Yeah.
Mine's paid off. It runs. It's got 2 wheels on it still. I'm good to go." And so the salesman kept bickering with me and back and forth, and I let him go through a spiel, and then I gave him a spiel, and the manager was there, and he said, "Why don't you come work for us and sell some motorcycles?" So I was like, I'll give it a shot and see what I can do. But
yeah,
I was traveling so much, doing speaking engagements and things like that, I wasn't around enough to really have a good job, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I still hadn't figured out where I fit in, and this was prior to me actually, getting a kick in the ass and, getting the help that I needed,
yeah.
To get right in the head and figure it all out.
What? Because now you've got United States Tactical, UnitedStatesTactical.com, which I try to avoid going on the site because you can see Willie's picture back here. Willie's sitting back here. We love the canines and we love the bags and everything, all that stuff. And yeah, I could spend a lot of money
Yeah.
with your deal real
Yeah.
quick. And the last time we were together, last time we did a podcast together, we were down there at your office at your
Right.
warehouse and distribution center, and I was like, oh my God, I want every one of these bags.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a bag fanatic. I don't know what that is.
What kind of
What is
bags?
it? Like tactical bags.
Like AR-15 bags, stuff like that, or just
Yeah, yeah.
everyday backpacks?
Or backpacks or go bags or
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I need to go shopping.
Excel.
I've got Chad's credit card in my pocket.
Okay.
After
yeah.
this podcast, let's go shopping.
So for bags and backpacks, go to redrockoutdoorgear.com.
Okay.
Okay. For any-
redrockoutdoorgear.com.
Mhm.
That's a long name.
I'm building an AR-15 right now.
Okay.
So I'm in the process with RW Arms.
Okay.
Chad is too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna need a bag.
Okay.
So like I say, I've got his ATM card in my pocket. Let's go shopping.
Okay.
Oh,
When
Lord.
you run Chad's card, there's an automatic increase in the price.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
got
thanks
a
for
logo
lunch,
on
by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm just gonna run that thing down to zero and just they'll say decline.
it. Yeah. There you go.
No, but I encourage people go check out the websites. United States Tactical Red Rock Outdoor Gear.com. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the backpack side, bag side, and then the gear side is actually United States Tactical.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about your journey as far as getting the help, because you and I've talked about that before, but I want people to hear it again because I like to talk about it. I think people need to hear it.
When I got out, when I decided to get out in 2008, I got out because
How many years were you in first?
8 years.
8 years. Okay.
So I served from 2000 to 2008. And I came off my last deployment in late 2007. I got married about a month and a half after I got back. And then about a month and a half after I got married, then I went ahead and got out. Of course, like most military guys, infantry side, things like that, all I knew was guns. Knew I wanted to carry a gun every day. Figured, hey, why don't I be a cop?
Yeah.
Well, that didn't work out. Either I couldn't pass the psych eval, couldn't pass hearing test, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. So, I was getting pretty discouraged because I had no idea what else I wanted to do. So I just took odd jobs here and there. I grew up on a ranch, grew up working cattle, riding horses, things like that. So I figured, I'll go back to my roots. So I actually moved away. It was me and my wife were having problems because I had just come back. And I was fine in my eyes.
Yeah.
In her eyes, I wasn't. I was a whole different person. Neither one of us knew how to deal with it. So a buddy of mine had a job opening in Oklahoma. My wife was going through grad school down in Galveston. So I moved up to Oklahoma and lived up there, worked that ranch for about a year and a half while she was going through grad school. And then I got a job about the same time she was graduating. I got a job in Hamilton on another ranch and moved down there. And then she came up and, moved back in together. Actually, we're a married couple again, and, it was up and down. For a while I'd be great. And then for a longer while I'd be horrible.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't worth it. So
Were you just depressed? Were you down? Were you angry? Were you?
Yes, all the above.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I couldn't tell what was triggering me. I had no idea what was going on. I figured I was just an asshole. That's just who I was. Whatever.
I mean, I wonder.
Yeah. I think my wife still wonders.
I've been in that place. Jade, who's sitting off camera here, I've looked at her and I said, I don't mean to be this way right now.
Yeah.
You know what's going on, and I don't want to be this way, but this is the way I am in this moment.
Right.
And that's a horrible way to be.
Yeah. And not knowing how to fix it, how to change it, so you just keep going on, and it gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And you keep lying to yourself, telling you that, that you're all right. And, I kind of leveled out for a while, and then February 2nd happened, and there was a downward spiral from there.
What was your reaction when you got that news about Chris and Chad?
I didn't believe it at first. My dad actually called me, and we had just putting our girls to bed, and my phone rang, and I answered it, and Dad said, Chris is gone. Like, all right. So I figured, well, he's, off working for somebody, off on not a deployment, but doing some work somewhere, whatever. And he said, no. He said, he's gone. What do you mean he's gone? He said, he's dead. And, Dad was real calm, real collected. And I mean, I basically blacked out. Well, not really blacked out, but I just fell back to my military mode. This was war. So I found myself, I was in my gun room. I had my go bag, and I was getting everything ready. And, I was going to walk out the door and go do what I needed to do. But he told me, he said, you got to promise me you're not going to do anything. I said, all right, yeah, that's fine. He said, no, promise me. I said, all right. He said, no, I want to hear the words. I said, all right, I promise. He said, you got 2 little girls. You've got a brand new baby girl. You need to stop and think about this before you do anything stupid. And he said, look out the window. And he said, I'm sure you're going to see some, reds and blues out there. And so I did. And of course there was cop cars all around my place, and, they were there they informed them before I got the call. So they were there to make sure that I wasn't going to do anything.
Yeah.
So I hung up with my dad, and I broke down, and I was in the fetal position on the floor, bawling like I was 3 years old again.
Yeah.
And my wife had no idea what was going on. All she saw was I was in my gun room packing shit up, and then the next, I was on the floor, in the fetal position. And it destroyed me. That was the day I died, and so she called some of my buddies, and they came over and kept me company that night. I didn't sleep at all that night, probably drank way too much alcohol. And that next day, then I just loaded the truck up, and I went up and started, doing what I had to do, getting things ready for the family and things like that. And so, of course, I basically left my job and left my family, left my wife with a brand new baby girl and, a 2-year-old daughter. So, I just was out there doing that, and I had to keep myself busy. So from that day forward, all I did was go, go, go. I never said no to any invitation to be at an event, to do a speaking engagement, anything. And for me, at that time, I didn't feel right about charging people because I'm not a public speaker. I am not a public speaker.
We almost did an event together in San Francisco last year, and the thing got canceled. I know. I was looking forward to being with you in San Francisco.
That would have been an event. So, but I just kept rolling through life, and I was basically in a fog, and I just kept moving, and every time I'd come home, things would be bad. I'd treat my wife like crap. My kids were terrified of me, and I didn't have a good relationship with anybody, and so she kept telling me, she said, you have got to do something. This isn't going to work. You've got to do something. And finally, she gave me an ultimatum, and she said, if you don't get right, she said, then, this is going to end. Mm-hmm. And so that opened my eyes really quick. And about that, I think it was probably that same week, I actually went to the VA. There in Waco at the VA, they had an in-house program. It was like a 9-week program for PTS, and they would invite me out to speak to every cohort that was going through the course. And so I got up there and I was speaking to them, and they'd have other other individuals there from different companies and things like that that supported veterans and stuff. And so afterwards, I was talking to some of the vets, and there was a fellow Marine there, and he pulled me to the side and he said, so when you going through the program? I said, I'm not. He said, why not? And I said, I don't need it. And being a Marine brother, he called me out and he said, you're so full of shit. He said, you're messed up worse than half the guys here. And he said, most of these guys here are taking up a seat for you that need to be here. He said, you need to be here worse than we do. And he said, you better get some help. So, of course, coming from a brother Marine and my wife, that really kicked me in the ass. And so things just kind of fell into place after that. An organization out of Ohio called Save a Warrior, they invited me and my dad up to Ohio for a clay shoot. I didn't have any idea that they were bringing me out there to get me up in front of everybody and, offer the spot in the course for me. Mm-hmm. And so we went up there, participated in the event. And then at the end, whenever they were giving the trophies and stuff like that to all the winners, they called me out in front of everybody and said, will you accept? Well, standing up there in front of everybody, I couldn't really say no.
How'd you feel? Were you mad? Were you embarrassed?
I was a little mad. I wasn't necessarily embarrassed, but I was kind of taken back. I didn't really know how to react. So I went ahead and accepted and went through the program, and that was the start of, me getting my head right.
Yeah.
They wouldn't tell me anything about it. They just told me, be open-minded and come ready. So I did.
What kind of job do you think the VA is doing with folks that are dealing with those issues? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it passable?
Well, some VAs and some offices in the VA are doing good. Others are doing horrible. So all in all, I guess they're doing bad. If they're not all doing good for our warriors,
what
then
do you
doing
think?
Bad.
How would you grade the report card on this presidency, as far as the support to not only active duty military but our veterans? Is it more lip service or more things being done?
He's definitely getting things rolling, you know, and that's what I appreciate about him. And he's not afraid to get out there and speak, just like they brought up the deal about veteran suicide. Mm-hmm. That right there to me speaks volumes.
It does. It really does. Because I know, look, we all have our opinions on both this administration and the last administration. And I mean, it's head and shoulders above where.
100%.
What the hell's wrong with liberals? My God. Why? I mean,
can't fix stupid.
It goes down. It goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, and you can always tell who's in office when something's going on.
Yeah.
So, I personally, I just don't think you can do enough. And I know there are people who have jumped my ass over the last few years saying, you just want to give veterans a free pass. Well, it's not a free pass. I just think that anybody that's willing to put on a uniform every day with the potential to serve and sacrifice and give their life for my liberty deserves everything that I can give them to serve them in turn, because whether they're active duty and they're away and their basement floods and, we got to take care of mama and the babies or daddy and the babies or whatever the situation may be, we're going to do it. And if there's a veteran that needs help, and we're going to do it, and whether it's financial or giving them Christmas or those are the things. I mean, those are the things. That's what I use, the platform that I have. That's my service, so to speak. It's my outlet of patriotism, and that's what we do, and that's why we always are going to use our platform to do those things.
And the thing about the veteran community and the military community in general is, most veterans, they don't want a free ride.
Exactly.
They will work their asses off to get whatever's coming to them.
Yeah.
If you give them the opportunity to do it, they're going to do it. They don't want a free ride.
And how many people They just want to normalize their life. They
Right.
did what they did. They served. They came back with their demons. And let's face it, there's always that element of it. Steve brought it up a little while ago. To go into the military means you are reprogramming yourself. 100%. You are becoming a soldier, a Marine, an airman, a sailor. You are becoming a weapon of war. You're becoming a warrior. And it's a whole new tribe. It's a whole new lifestyle. It's a whole new way of doing things. There is a chain of command. And then you come back out and all of a sudden you're a civilian. And civilian life doesn't always make sense.
Right.
And people are dealing with those things. So regardless of what you've seen or what you've done, and yeah, some people have been through hell in Fallujah, and then some people, were in desert cleanup.
Yeah, I mean, those wrenches, they will bust your knuckles.
He's going to
Actually, I didn't pick up very many wrenches.
Party Foul Steve's going to have a disabled veteran hat one day because he dropped a wrench on his foot 4 months ago.
Something like that.
I love you, boy.
I love you too.
But it's true. I mean,
It is. I've got a grandson that gets to spend the next year of his life with his dad in Germany.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be more prouder of not only my grandson, but my son-in-law, and my daughter that's having to deal with that and that sacrifice that they're giving to live without their loved one for the next year.
Yep.
For us.
Yep.
So.
Well, that's why we do what we do. That's why American Valor Foundation exists.
Right.
And it's an opportunity to give back and serve those who have served us.
Yeah.
And it's what your brother did. And, you and your family are carrying on that legacy. I'm proud to be a part of it. I'm thankful.
Proud to have you.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm trying not to screw up. I just figure if I can keep your dad happy, and
you're fighting a losing battle.
I know
on
it
that.
is because it's funny because I've talked about it before, and every now and then I'm at these public events and certain people will be there, and I'm like, God, all these different people that are quote unquote celebrities or hold office or have their own organizations, and you're like, well, this person we kind of don't see eye to eye, and I'm like, look, I can't keep up. I can't keep up. You get spooked.
I took note of what you just said about your y'all's organization taking care of other organizations, and I picked up on that from Jacob Schick, and they're, hey, we're all after the same goal.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We need each other.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you can't band together and work together with other organizations,
Right.
I ain't got no use for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It takes all of us as a community.
Exactly. And those organizations that think that they are the end all be all and that they're going to stop veteran suicide and that they are the answer, well, they're lying to themselves.
Yeah.
Amen.
So I mean that's what I like about the most of probably 90% of the Texas-based veteran foundations. We all work together, and we're all happy to do it. And we're not shy about saying that. Yeah, we work with this organization. We all team up and try to get the job done.
Yeah. When somebody walks up to you and says thank you for your service, how does that make you feel? How do you want to react to that?
When I first got out, it didn't bother me at all. And then after a while, it almost became cliche.
Yeah.
I think Chris put it best that, don't just thank them for their service. Do something.
Yeah.
Do something for them. Mow their yard. Get a babysitter for, them and their spouse so they can go have a night out. Something. Don't just thank them for their service. Go up to them and, hey, thank you for allowing me to go to college.
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing me to be a libtard. Something, anything.
Hey, Chad will buy them all a cup of coffee in the airport or whatever.
Yeah.
I've seen firsthand of what he's done more than saying thank you.
Yeah.
And it's like, as a veteran, I was like, man, yes.
Yeah.
And we're actually teaching our 3 kids anytime we're in the airport or anywhere, if they see anyone in uniform, including police, firefighters, if we're at the grocery store and the firefighters are getting their groceries, and they're not shy and they walk up and right now it is thank you for your service, because we want them to know at a young age the sacrifice that's happening, and they can't wrap their little
They ain't
minds
got no
around
money.
Yeah. Next time, thanks though, Jeff. Now I'm gonna have to buy their groceries.
Exactly.
Now I know all the firefighters. But you're right. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Bless them in the way, knowing that they've shown up at our house before because a car ran into our house.
Right. Yeah.
True story.
Yep.
Why didn't I buy their groceries? Now I feel bad. Thanks a lot.
That's some
All right.
crazy
Well, you
footage
should
of
feel
that
bad,
car
yeah.
We
running
have
into your
footage of
house.
that.
Oh,
You
I've
saw,
seen
Jeff
it,
saw
yeah.
it.
Lip
Yeah.
That's
service will
crazy.
take you so far, and then you got to step up.
You're
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
right. That's
And
something that
I
that'll
don't
be a new
want people to
challenge.
shy away from thanking
Sure.
a vet or a first responder for their service. I don't want them to stop doing that.
Yeah, and I know that's not what you're saying at all.
But make it
Yeah.
more personal.
Yeah,
you know?
because that's the thing. I think people look for ways to be able to express their gratitude, and in many ways that's been the only thing. But that's why I tell people, get involved. Get involved with organizations like American Valor. Get involved with these organizations like 22 Kill, who are trying to eradicate this epidemic of not just veteran suicide, but first responder suicides and citizen suicides, which has just grown to just unbelievable proportions that are out there. Just read the news this morning where a second student from Parkland High School there in Florida where the school shooting happened committed suicide. It's a terrible thing. So not only we're trying to talk about it, we're trying to, and so I tell people, hey, look, get the help. Reach out to American Valor. Reach out to 22 Kill. Reach out to these organizations that are doing it and doing it well. I can tell you the track record for sure of those two organizations.
Right.
And, I'm proud of what's there. And so, yeah, you just got to get the help. And we're going to keep talking about it. We're going to keep doing it. And by the way, have Jeff Kyle come speak at your event because contrary to what he says, he is a good public speaker. And, I mean, you could tell from the power of this conversation. The guy's got a lot of heart, a lot of emotions. I hate I didn't see you at SHOT Show. I saw you, but I saw pictures of you. We were like ships
I
passing in
actually
the
hung
night.
out with him at SHOT Show
Yeah.
in Vegas.
Yeah.
You
You were
didn't,
too
but I
busy.
did.
I know. I
Yeah.
left early. So.
Yeah. Yeah, they called me and said, hey, come over here and hang out. Chad's here. Come on.
I went to bed. It was
I
Vegas.
got
No, you were
bed.
with Mike Rowe.
Bed.
Yeah.
Mike Rowe was with y'all.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe so.
Yeah,
were
Mike
you?
Rowe was still. I went to bed.
He was down at the table.
Yeah, that might have been true. That might have been true.
Well, I'll go co-host any MC thing you got.
yeah.
It'll be great. I promise.
Yeah.
Jeff also he's a man of many hats because he also does LTC classes. I was a star student in one of his classes.
Yeah. You got classes coming up?
As far as what she just said, I plead the fifth. I will, on record, I will never admit to giving her license, to signing on that piece of paper.
Good.
Hey,
She took the class
needs to
and
take the
passed the
class.
class.
He was so kind. There was a lot of eye roll. That's true. But I got ready to take, to start shooting after the many, many hours of lecturing he gave. And no, I got ready to shoot and I had my 22 ready.
I was like, no.
yeah,
Do you think
22,
Texas
you took
is-
a rimfire?
You're not shooting a
to-
22. And I was like, that's not a lot of kids.
16 states
Oh.
in the United States are now open carry, Second Amendment states. Do you think Texas is going to follow suit? Oklahoma recently did it.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think it should.
I mean,
We're all carrying anyway.
yeah.
So,
The only thing is, I've got kind of mixed emotions about it. I would never be against anybody having that right to carry it if they wanted to, whether they had a license or not.
Yeah.
I think everybody, and I 100% believe that everybody has the right to protect themselves and somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think it's scary the amount of people out there that are walking around with firearms that have no idea how
No
to use
idea
them.
what they're doing. Like my
And-
mother used to say, I'm just going to point it at them. No.
Yeah, yeah,
No.
yeah. And there's a mindset that comes along with it too.
Yeah.
Carrying a firearm, it's not a piece of jewelry.
Yeah.
Whenever you put that firearm on you every day, you're taking that chance and you're taking that responsibility.
Yeah.
I think that's big. But I mean, I'm not against the constitutional
Constitutional carry, yeah.
I'm not against it.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see. Graham Allen sent me a message the other day. He said, "Where's Texas on this list?" And I'm like, "Well, we're still sophisticated, We got to ease into things. We're not
Yeah.
Oklahoma."
Yeah.
Well, the states got to get their money out of it, no matter how at
Just
what level. They
Get
gotta
another DUI.
They gotta. I ain't had the first.
Attaboy. Well,
Mama's
so
driving me
for the
home.
Chad
What are you
Prather
talking
Show. Oh, my goodness. I want everybody to go to AmericanValorFoundation.org. Get your tickets to the Chris Kyle Memorial Benefit May 4th. It's going to be in the Stockyards here in Fort Worth. I'm going to be there. Hot News Natalie will be there. Party Foul will be there. Jade will be there. Tony will be there. All God's children going to be there. Jeff's going to be there. Wayne and Debbie. Amy.
Hey, did you buy my ticket yet?
You got his card.
I'm gonna buy. I got all y'all. So
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Steve's feeling very, very generous. So I want to see everybody there. I want to pack that thing out. We got a lot of tickets left to sell. It goes to a good cause. We're going to have an auction that night?
Yes.
Good.
There's
You going to do it live and silent?
Yes.
Good.
There's some amazing auction items.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got something in the trunk of my car I want to show you. It might be something worth auctioning off.
Oh gosh.
That kind of scares me.
Yeah.
I know, and I don't think that person in the bag is going to object at all. So,
Okay, that's cool.
so anyway, anything else? We got it. We all good here? Anything? Anybody? I
Did
just
you
feel
give
like
a shout out to Mark and Candace over
Puppet
here?
Master Mark is sitting
it's like-
right over here. Candace is in the
Missed that.
puppet seat right over. Yeah, and they're just producing this thing away. It's been fun. I still encourage everybody, if you're going to watch the full episode, go to YouTube. If you're going to, if you want to listen to it, make sure you're downloading it wherever podcasts are available. Get the Chad Prather Show. Jeff, always a pleasure.
I appreciate you having me.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it. Now we're going to go find Mark Hansen and verbally abuse him.
Yeah, he needs to come on the show. You need
we'll
to
get
do
him on here.
a full interview.
We'll
with
get him on
You
here.
need to apologize about wrecking his Jeep.
Yeah, Steve. Anyway. All right, guys, for Jeff Kyle, thank you for coming on, buddy. Go check them out, AmericanValorFoundation.org, and also a United States Tactical or Red Rock
Outdoor gear.
Outdoor Gear. Those are both .com, so go get them. For the Chad Prather Show, we'll see you next time. Love y'all. God bless. Bye.